Welcome to clickmyproject.com. Let we discuss about the process unraveling the effect of textured contact lenses on iris recognition. Let me see the abstract of the process. Individual recognition using iris is most commonly employed in all the places. This requires some special cameras to take the iris image, and the obtained iris images were classified based on the features extracted. Only identification of persons is not the applications of iris recognition. It can be developed to do many processes. In this process, the persons who are wearing lenses were identified. The iris images captured from the cameras were taken. Some iris recognition systems fails because some of the recognition systems identifies the iris images in photos. Also, some of the recognition system identifies the fake iris images generated by some attackers. An iris recognition system that identifies the fake iris are much needed. The proposed iris recognition system identifies the iris images that were having lens. In order to identify lens applied to the iris and the original iris images, shift descriptors were derived from the input iris images. Before this process, iris images were pre-processed by resizing the images and then filtering the images using median filter. The pre-processed images were normalized. The normalization process identifies the iris and pupil regions in the images correctly, and it reshapes the identified positions. The normalization process improves the efficiency. The shift descriptors identifies the corner points in iris images, and then the extracted points were used to generate the codebook. The codebook generation process is done using hierarchical visual codebook generation. The input image is identified to be original or wearing lens using support vector machine classifier. The support vector machine method is based on kernel functions. SVM arranges the feature points in hyperplanes based on the feature similarities obtained. SVM is a binary classification method, and it gives a decision whether the input feature belongs to the hyperplanes or not. The proposed system combines the iris recognition process along with the lens detection in iris images. The performances of our process is measured in three cases. The calculated performances values shows that the proposed method has better performance compared to the existing systems. Let me see the flow of the process. The input iris images were obtained. The images were pre-processed, and normalization is applied to the input irises in order to convert the regions from Cartesian to polar coordinates. After the normalization of iris, the feature extraction is employed based on shift descriptors and hierarchical visual codebook generation. The iris datasets were trained by repeating the same processes to all the images in the datasets. The Irish's databases were collected from the cache database for Irish images, and in them some of the images were used for this process. This process is a trained system, and hence this process will be work for the trained sequences exactly. After the training process has been completed, the extracted features were matched with the test image features. For this matching, support vector classification is employed. The support vector classification methodology identifies the category of the data that we have given to which it belongs. The categorization of the data were employed based on the ranges that we are providing for the classification process. We have given some three categories, three different ranges for the classification of the process, that is the persons who are wearing lens and normal persons, the irises which are original and the irises which are fake. So like that these two processes were employed, and finally for matching irises the process is employed. So for this lens detection and irises matching, support vector classification is employed. So the classification methodology classifies the data into the persons wearing lenses or not, or the matching of the irises images, and finally the overall performance of the process is measured in terms of the classification accuracy, sensitivity and specificity. This overall performances implies that the proposed system is more efficient compared to the other existing works for the detection of Irish images and the recognition of Irish images. Let me see the running procedure of the process. If you want to run the code, select the file main.m, which is located in the source code folder. Right click it and click on run file in order to execute the process. When we click on run file, the user interface will be displayed, which contains the buttons and the display accesses for the execution of the process. So we select any one of the Irish images from the dataset. After that, basic pre-processing steps were employed based on the filters. So we provide any one of the ranges for the pre-processing steps and the images were filtered here. After that, normalization process is employed. For the normalization, the Irish images, the pupil regions from the Irish images were taken and they were converted from normal XY coordinates to polar coordinates. This is the normalized Irish image. After that, the shift feature extraction is done. So for the shift feature extraction, these are all the parameters that we are going to use. So when we click on OK, the shift features will be extracted from the input images, and from the extracted shift features the values were plotted in x and y coordinates, just like that, not to display the shift features. After that, these are all the values extracted from the shift descriptors, and these are all the values generated using the codebook. Then based on them, the lens detection process is employed. So when we click on detect lens, the classification of the Irish images were employed and the regions were detected. So as we can see in this, the input image is identified as original Irish, that is no lens is detected in this images. And then finally the performance of the process is measured in terms of accuracy, sensitivity and specificity. So this is the lens detection accuracy of the process, and we have compared our method with existing methodologies, and based on that this graph is obtained based on accuracy, sensitivity and specificity, and finally the receiver operating curve is obtained. So this curve denotes the plot of the sensitivity and specificity, and this depicts to which range our process differs from the original values. So thus we have calculated the in valence detected. Thus we have analyzed whether the input iris images has been wearing lenses or not, and this recognition process accuracy is measured and it is compared with the other methods. For this process we have employed shift feature extraction and vocabulary codebook for the codebook generation and the feature extraction from the images. Thank you.